sitting on the Nintendo Wii Shop, Steam, the Play Store, and even the Amazon, with a perfect 10 out of 10 on all platforms. At number 1, we've got over here Persona 5 Royal, probably the most important JRPG of the past decade, whether we've been technical or not. This game is so good it doesn't even matter if you've ever played a game. Storytelling, gameplay, diversity in content, and the characters in this game is to die for. Pick it up if you haven't already. My opinion, if you don't, that would be a sacrilegious. If you like video games, though.
Vow to me. I am thou. Thou art I. Call upon my name and release thy rage! Take over, stop, down. Get out of my face!
My weak self relied on you so much. That ends today.
Coming up behind that, we've got, well, of course, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Well, this has to be the single most colorful game of the past few years, and at the same time, delightful to pick up and play for literally every age, no matter the taste even. Hell, this is a semi-open world game and it features the co-op elements. I mean, where else do you get to see that on any platform? The game is everything you've ever loved about Kirby, or Kirby games in general, amped up to perfection, huge and very innovative in nature. At number 3, we've got over here the one and only Bayonetta 3. This is actually one of the most awaited games of 2022 that's been in the making for a hell of a lot longer than any other game in the list, would somehow actually manage to eventually deliver and not disappoint in any way either. The game's improved in gameplay mechanics, features a ton of new action components, and once again, as always, delivering an absolute thrilling story and a nice pace to it as well. Pick it up if you do like hack and slasher.
To our little crew.
We don't have time. If we don't stop them, this world is history. And reality as we know it gets wiped out for good.
Lesson 1. Carelessness will get your tail snipped. Got that, kitty?
The name's Viola. Don't forget it.
The best shooting game on the hybrid console, albeit online. Guys, if you do appreciate a reliable in every way online shooter, in a way though, Splatoon 3 is definitely something you should pick up and play right now if you haven't already. This game has everything about the previous games in the series and amped up, fine-tuned and remade for a better experience. It's of course more advanced in visuals as well, but nothing really revolutionary. Obviously worth a try, definitely worth the price.
And Geo as well.
That sword represents our family's honor.
Coming up behind that at number 5, we've got over here Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Well, I've said it before, in case you missed it, I'll say it again. This is probably the best example of a remastered game done right. If you really need to know what's truly going on in Final Fantasy VII's world, you actually, in my opinion, gotta play this one too, as it just sets all the pieces that are missing in story right together. Square Enix has done a phenomenal job with this one. The game runs perfect on Switch, it's gorgeous, has a great replay value, and it is huge in scale. probably the best open world Switch port that previously came out for PCs and other consoles, guys. No Man's Sky actually blew it out of the park with just how the hell they managed to port the game to the hybrid console to such literal perfection. Never heard of the bug with this one. It's for those of you new, one of the biggest survival sandbox games out there right now, with super cool graphics, a great world, a multiplayer, and much more. Easy recommendation here.
That's the way of our world. Ionios.
Xenoblade Chronicles, on the other hand, is, well, first off, just automatically always has been one of the biggest and most praised RPGs out there, because it always delivers in story, gameplay mechanics, details, and performance. Of course, all of that and even more in Xeno 3. This game's just easily one of the top 3 games of any list. If we're talking Switch, not just RPGs, improved upon the original formula with much more content, characters, and just about the most engaging story of all time.
The land pierced by a great sword. It's the only way you're gonna defeat the real enemy.
Whatever life is lost, I won't let you shoulder it all alone. What good filling up these flickering clocks in our eyes? It will never replace the friends we've lost. The flame clock, it has to...
If you have ever enjoyed a Pokemon game, especially if you're a fan of this series, guys, and will have been playing most of the games, Pokemon Legends Arceus is, in case you haven't played it yet, the definition of a shift done right in every freaking way possible. Arceus is legitimately everything a Pokemon game needed, and precisely what the fans have been asking for ages since the beginning of the franchise. The game is huge, engaging, very rewarding, and boy is it addicting. Coming up behind that, we've got over here once again Nier Automata, falling at number 2 on the hack and slash side of the list, right behind Bayonetta 3, even though, well, at times, however, this game is a neck and a head above the Bayonetta in smoothness, though. Well, here's the thing, the End of Yora edition, which we've got over here, is just one of the most fine-tuned and well-done ports of the past 10 years at least. The game is definitely an achievement in the history of Switch, and it is very, very carefully remade for playing on the go.
You just die already!
One of the most standout RPGs of 2022, as it's always actually been the case with this series, was once again The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. Now, for those of you new here, Trails from Zero emphasizes on story and characters, and even though it is not that necessary, I would still recommend you get familiar with the franchise before you get down with this one. This game is easily one of the most engaging in story in the list, pretty fine-tuned in nature, and takes a heck of a lot of time to finish.
And I promise to help you find the strength. Where did you get that power? To see your...
What do you get by mixing a Musou-style game, like a Dynasty Warriors game, with a JRPG and one that emphasizes on strategic elements? Well, the only answer to that would be what we've got here, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Houses. This is one of the most unique blends of gameplay elements of 2022 out of the whole gaming scene, and remarkably somehow making it all work for a fan of any genre, whether if you're into RPGs, Musou style, or strategies. Game's about 30 hours of campaign to go with. It's fun, serious, and pretty huge and hefty in content.
Don't say it didn't warn you.
Let's get to it.
Attack!
Everyone, to arms!
Thank you. I had a good time today.
How many times have we fought now? Either way, this will be the last. This isn't a fight you can win. Get out of there!
I will fight with all my strength and spirit. For the future, even for humanity.
What if all this was just some horrible mistake? What if there was another way we could have solved all this?
A quick mention with this one, if you haven't had the chance to come across this one yet, the Easier Collection Assassin's Creed is definitely a great entry point and a great compilation of some of the best games in the AC's lifetime, and in fact a great Switch port that works very smooth in nature regardless of the storage requirement. If you're wondering if this is the one, the answer is yes, even if you have already played the 3 games already. If you do like mystery novels, specifically murder mystery, story-based games, something in the same style of 9 Hours, 9 Doors, 9 People, which, boy, was a great game, AI The Somnium Files is actually a neck and a head above that, and it is mixed with a great puzzle component as well. Something you do not see that often in visual novel games except of them being ballsy. This is actually one of the best works of Spike Chunsoft, its developers of the past few years, and one of the best writings out of any video game. Moving on to number 14, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This is probably the best Turtles beat-em-up game ever made from the same folks who earlier came up with Streets of Rage 4. So, of course, this game is just fine-tuned and considered to perfection. Shredder's Revenge not only recreates all the good thing about the arcade games from all the way back, it actually amps up and has so much more elements that it'll be your next probably addiction if you have even a few friends to play this one with. Hell, this game can be played with up to 5 more people. Now, first of all, because I'm a pixel art fanatic over here, Triangle Strategy is honestly just the most visually advanced in that department of all time, but with that out of the way, this game is just simply the most engaging, fun to play, and innovative story-driven tactics strategy game on the list easily. Do you want content? Well, something you couldn't even leave your house for months? Triangle Strategy actually does that easily and still leaves room for you to come back for more. Check it out.
To when the night is darkest, together with these fields. Today you burn.
I promise to do
Hero Denim Pavel, alongside his sister Katua and childhood friend Vice. Denim is the...
On the other hand, we've got over here Tactics Ogre. Well, just so you've got a somewhat decent alternative to Triangle Strategy if there's something you didn't like about that one. This game is just one of the most praised strategy RPGs of 2022 on Switch and any console for that matter, and what it probably lacks in content compared to the previous game, it actually makes up for in quality and music, which is just divine. Some of the greatest designs of all time, and this is how it actually really works.
Thrilling strategic battles against a sea of relentless foes. Prepare for combat by carefully selecting your party. Outfit them with loot acquired on your adventure. The class-wide level management system gives you the power to experiment with endless combinations. Harness the unique Chariot Tarot system to rewind a doomed battle and revise your strategy. Reborn and deeper than ever, dive into a tale filled with choices that will determine
God's dirty work. But I'm finding it hard to believe we're in heaven.
Coming up behind that, we've got over here Neon White, probably the most fast-paced and addicting shooter of all time. You see the type of games that the more you get good at, it becomes more addicting. Like, at first you just don't really feel like it's your thing, but after some time you become it. Well, Neon White is precisely that, and more. That is backed up by a genius visual novel style element and very, very satisfying all the way. And last but not least, one bit at all, we've got over here 13 Sentinels. This is one of the most innovative, interesting blend of visual novel, story-based, and strategy RPGs of the past decade here. Although mostly just a visual novel game and story, the action between comes in only a few hours amongst a 20-hour visual novel. Personally, one of the most memorable games that I've played this year, and it is quite fun to play, pretty easy to and simple to understand, yet very engaging.
You got them all in one shot!
Slow down. Different combat situations might call for different weapons.
I'm back in the fight. Don't get ahead of yourself. We're not done here.
We need to focus on protection.
Then we have our plan. Let's move out!
Keep it together. Everything will work out.